Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Happiest Hour. Hopefully you're having a good day. Hopefully you're doing all right. I actually have had the worst day. I had a pretty bad day. Things did not go my way, but you know what? I made it to the end. And what do the pilots say? The best landing is any one that you're able to walk away from. So here we are. I'm here with you. You're here with me. We're here at the Happiest Hour. 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central, 3:30 Pacific, and 11:30 GMT. I'm happy to have you with me here. Things did not go my way today, but you know what? I made it here. It's the happiest hour of my day, and I'm glad I named the show that. And as always, with me at the Happiest Hour is Lancey Joe. Lancey Joe, how you doing today?
Hi, Brendon. I'm sorry you didn't have a good day today.
Thanks, dude. I very much appreciate that. I feel like it definitely was. I feel like I thought about this last week. I had a pretty rough day also, and I thought, how do I was like, it's kind of weird. Like, I have to be on for the show. Like, I have to be like, I'm having the best time. It's the happiest hour. And then just now, as I was making my drink, I thought, I can still have the happiest hour of my day, even if I'm not like totally off the walls happy, because the rest of the day was pretty bad. I should be so lucky. I still have a job at the moment, so things can't get that bad, I suppose. But had a lot of people tell me to fuck off today.
Yeah, that's no good. Including Gloria or nah?
No, that would have really taken the cake, I think, if that had been the case.
I mean, I had a pretty decent day today. I haven't really done much. I just, been working on comedy. Believe it or not, I work on this. I'm not just naturally. I don't wake up looking like this.
It takes a lot of work to be this mediocre. Let me tell you that. I'm referring, of course, to myself. You, sir, are not mediocre. You are the Michael Jordan is the Lancey Joe of basketball.
I'm the Michael Vick of comedy for sure.
I should say real quick, Rachel Racina's joined us. Thank you, Rachel. And Andrew, you're right. How can I be having a bad day when you're joining the show and watching? It's a great day every day you're joining and watching, man. I'm sorry I've been so elusive to your phone calls, Andrew. I've been very busy with a lot of projects, and I feel like once some of these get off my plate, like the last book that I did, the next book that I'm doing, which is going to be done soon, then I will have some more time. So it's weird to be both quarantined in a pandemic and also busy. It's like,
right.
It's very weird to have that dichotomy. I tell you what, I can't wait for this weekend, man. We have, at least for me, Memorial Day and getting that extra day off is going to really, that's needed from my perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. It's getting pretty slammed around here too. I'm writing these jokes, and I walked to Starbucks earlier, so it's getting wild.
How do you have time for the show?
I'm not sure. But when I walked to Starbucks earlier, you'll like this story. I've realized, and you've probably noticed it too, because you've gone on a few jogs and stuff. Nature has taken back what's rightfully theirs outside. First of all, the birds are tweeting loudly.
Tweeting in 140 characters loudly in these trees.
And I walked by a duck that was just sitting there on the concrete, just sitting there, and it wouldn't. I thought it was like a wooden statue, but it was real. I found that out the hard way.
Wait. Did this duck attack you or something?
No, I didn't find it out the hard way. I didn't really bother it, but I got close enough to see that it was in fact alive and real, and it just did not give a shit about me, which kind of hurt my ego a little bit. And then, so I finally got to Starbucks, and there was a ocelot in line in front of me with a complicated order.
She was a Karen, this ocelot. Lancey is referring to a cougar, a MILF, an attractive older lady.
The ocelot may not have had that complicated order. It was just taking a while because the cashier was a seahorse, a pregnant male seahorse. And you know those types. You know how male pregnant people are. Just whiny male pregnant people. So I finally got my English breakfast tea, which that's what I drink. Look at me. That's what I drink.
I love an English breakfast tea. Let me ask you this question, because this is a big time. This is riveting. This is going to be riveting live stream, by the way.
Content. Yeah. Warning.
I want to ask you, do you take out the tea bag, or do you leave it in the whole time you drink the tea?
It depends on the situation, because I will, if I'm sitting there in a Starbucks, I'll take it out after, a few minutes of.
But if you're out on a walk, you will.
Right. I don't go digging in my drink whenever it's.
Put this in my pocket.
Yeah, but I've got them separated. They give you 2 cups because it's hot. Starbucks dude. Gets their water from the core of the earth.
They're trying to make sure there's no coronavirus at all in that cup.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so hot. It's actually a gas.
It's a plasma when they put it in there. You can't drink too much Starbucks tea because it's plasma that turns into gas in your system. Well, what happened, Brendon? Did you eat jalapenos or no? This was just Starbucks tea I had earlier today.
And I usually, like, especially when I'm in there. This time I walk back home with this, so this is the second cup with the tea bag still in it, and then I wedge this like this, and then pour it into the other one, and back and forth.
And cools down.
Cool it down a little bit.
That's an invention, sir. You need to make a how-to on YouTube, and that's the how-to. How to drink Starbucks coffee, even though it's piping hot.
I think I'm going to do a how-to of how to make ice cubes in the tray. I want to do a how-to of how to do really simple things, but make it.
So, do you know who Michael Lucci's is? He's Michael Lucci's.
It sounds delicious, though. Come on down to Michael Lucci's.
Come on down to Michael Lucci's. We got pizzas. Ravioli. 3 for $1. Michael Lucci's. Friday nights. Bingo night at Michael Lucci's. It's the greatest pizza parlor in De Pere, Wisconsin.
Fried calamari, $2.99.
Fried calamari. You can get fried calamari side on anything you get. You want a slice of pizza? Fried calamari, just $1.99. Michael Lucci's. We have 3 locations serving the greater De Pere area.
Oh my God. The kids will love our game room.
Come on down to Michael Lucci's. We got game rooms. We have so many games. We've got Dig Dug. We've got Asteroids. We've got Missile Command.
Ski ball.
Ski ball. Michael Lucci's Big Pepperoni. It's jalapenos and pepperonis. Are you in a spicy mood? Bite right back with Michael Lucci's Pepperoni.
Bite right back. Jalapeno poppers at Michael Lucci's.
Get a 2-liter of Sprite for free if you order any 4 Michael packages.
Curly fries, seasoned fries, regular fries.
You won't even know how we fry them. No, we won't, Michael. There's a place in Manistee, Michigan called Big Al's Pizza, and they will deliver pizza so far. I mean, we're talking about, like I've said it before, Michigan is Louisiana of the North. We're talking about, just for my Michigan viewers, well, I can't do it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the state of Michigan, Manistee is all the way over here.
Giving an oath right now.
I know, and there's nothing in this area. So Big Al's Pizza will deliver pizza like 40 minutes away from where their location is. And you can call and get it, and it will arrive hot. I don't know how they do. I don't know what radioactive material they put in your car, but you can order a pizza 40 minutes away from Big Al's, and they'll be like, we'll get it there. 2 hours later, your pizza shows up, and it tastes like it just came out of the oven.
You know what they do? They stop by Starbucks and get one of those teas and pour it on there.
This is a tea-baked pizza. I think they shove it on the...
Teabag your pizza at Michael Lucci's.
Teabag pizza at Michael Lucci's. Come on down. Chai tea? Chai it. With a new location serving La Crosse, Wisconsin. Open late until 11 p.m. Michael Lucci's.
Getting ready for the big game? Come on down to Michael Lucci's. You get 140 hot wings for $10.
That's even 14 hot wings for $1. Come on down to Michael Lucci's.
Can't mix and match flavors.
Coronavirus got you down? At least you'll taste something in your stomach with Michael Lucci's Corona Special. All right. Michael Lucci's is a comedian. And he has a channel on YouTube where he teaches you how to do things like make ice cubes and microwave popcorn and plug things into the wall. Really? Literally, that's what he has. And it's so funny.
Well, damn, Michael Lucci's beat me to it. But at least we got the restaurant out there.
Yeah, you know what? Trademark his name and open that pizza place. Because so far as the 8 people watching this show know, there are at least 3 locations serving the De Pere area. Michael Lucci's Pizza.
La Crosse, Wisconsin.
I've been to La Crosse so many times, by the way.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I've done comedy. I've done a bunch of comedy out there in La Crosse. La Crosse.
Was it like in the back of a bar, or was it a proper comedy club?
Oh, it was in the front of a bar, I'll have you know.
Come on down to Michael Lucci's for comedy night.
Michael Lucci's comedy night. If you don't like the pizza, you'll love the comedy. What? I love Ray. I just noticed this 5 minutes ago. Rachel was like, "Thank you for repping English breakfast tea." Thank you for repping English breakfast tea. Rachel? Do you own like English breakfast tea options or something? I'm like, wait until it's English tea. Oh yeah, Tivana, dude. You're talking about top shelf.
Tivana Trump.
Tivana Trump. Oh my God.
I did a really liberal thing today.
Yeah?
I gave the GOP 1 star on Yelp. I'm voting with my intelligence.
Ugh, these guys, the company's terrible. Awful flavor, no spices. 1 star. Next time I'll eat at Michael Lucci's.
Yeah. Pictures do not do this justice.
All my neighbors are like, what the hell is going on in this guy's apartment?
But they're like, man, is there a Michael Lucci's around here?
Buttercrust pizza with Michael Lucci's. They said we couldn't do it. We couldn't make a pizza out of pure salt.
Got horses at home? Get the Michael Lucci's Salt Lick.
Split a pizza with your horse, only at Michael Lucci's.
Garlic knots, $2.99.
Garlic knots.
Let me tell you, my favorite part of that whole thing is when you said Dig Dug. They've got Dig Dug.
They've got Dig Dug. Asteroids.
You know, because you and I both did. I bombed worse than you, but we did that show at an arcade, and
that was insane. That was I felt like I got into an back alley fight with that crowd. That's what it felt like.
You did actually. I say you bombed. You did actually pretty well. I just bombed so hard. The good thing about bombing at an arcade, it says game over at the end. Yeah, you can actually hear the sound effects.
Who got the high score at this place? I love that. Who headlined that night? Who was it? It was who the fuck was it? We had Dan Dries, and then who else was that night?
He wasn't even supposed to be on the show. This is how that bad we were doing on the show. We were just bringing in people. We were doing.
You want to go up, Dan? Because seriously, yeah.
We were like, "What are you doing here? You do comedy? You want to go up?" Actually, I don't even think we asked him. We just put him on the lineup.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Called his name.
That's so funny. Hey, Dan, you want to go up there and just do that? Yeah, that was a rough show. That was like one of the roughest shows I've ever done. It was pretty bad.
Well, I hosted that one, so I think that's really the killer is hosting that show, because you did it the week before and didn't do as well as you did that week.
Yeah, because I hosted. Yeah, because it's hard because that whole crowd is like, what is a comedy show happening now? There's like 12 people in there who were not there to hear jokes. And
let me tell you, like a full-on frat party would be a better place to do comedy than this arcade.
Yeah, because you could at least get them chanting with you.
Yeah.
The arcade was like, people were like, what the fuck, man? Like, what? I just came here to drink my Harry Potter beer and
yeah,
try to hook up with these really nerdy girls. Like, why do you think why else would I be here? Like
yeah, and I bombed in a Harry Potter themed bar. That's my favorite part of the story. I bombed in a Harry Potter themed bar. My bombs now have themes. They're thematic. There's
Snape.
Snape, the Scottie Pippen of wizards. Michael Jordan, also the Scottie Pippen.
If it had been weeks earlier, you would have bombed in a Game of Thrones bar.
Yeah.
By the way, we need to say hello to some listeners, watchers. My cousin Sarah Biggs Elner, all the way from the UK. Andre Hashem, and Shelly Catalan. I haven't seen Shelly in a long time. Welcome to the live stream, Shelly.
Andre Hashem is funny.
He is very funny, man. I was on his podcast recently talking about one of the worst living situations I've ever had. Do you remember? This is when you and I first met. I was living. Remember House of Jokes? Do you remember coming out to that?
Yeah.
I lived with it. You guys should go check out the Haberdashery with Andre Hashem and check out the episode. The roof is on fire. Drinking at work, drinking at home. Drinking, work, I think is the name of the episode. And it's about, I talk for like 90 minutes about how my one time in that house, my roommate was a crazy drug dealer, drug taker, drug addicted, drug fiend who I was pretty sure was going to murder me at one point. I slept with a knife under my pillow. That's a true story. By the way, we got to get our guest on here pretty soon, Jay Shwied. He's all the way from New York, and I'm stoked to have that guy on here.
Finally, we get a New Yorker on here from my hometown.
I talked to him last week. He's good. He's a friend of the show. He's friends with Joy Schanenberger, Ash Moore, all those people, and
nice.
He's runs a cool company called Effluence, and we're gonna get him on here and talk to him in a couple of minutes. I'm just letting him know. We'll give him a call. But that's true. I almost died in that situation. He almost burnt the house down. Also, one time this guy had
Andre Hashem did this.
No. I'm not Andre. I'm sure Andre Hashem has had his share of shitty roommate situation, which is why he came up with that show. But
oh yeah.
But this guy put a pizza in a pizza box inside of an oven and turned the oven on and then fell asleep. That's basically what happened in this situation. Oh yeah, Pete Weishaupt said drug thug. Yeah. Pete, we're going to have you back on, by the way, man. That was people really enjoyed it though. I should admit. People really enjoyed it. I got messages from people being like, "Pete's kids were so cute." And I was like, "Good, cuz that was the only thing good about that episode." No, I'm just kidding.
They were cute.
They were cute, man.
I love that his style of giving an interview while doing a cookout.
It was actually really entertaining. Wasn't it?
It was really fun. It was like we were hanging out with him on the day.
I genuinely felt like we were at a barbecue. It was amazing. So that was
the happiest hour.
That was a good time.
In barbecue.
All right, I say we get Jay on here. I'm gonna go ahead and add him to this. Come on, Jay.
Your ex-roommate put a pizza from Michael Lucci's in a pizza box. He could have ordered another one for $4.99.
Oh my gosh. Is this gonna drop us again, or is it gonna add it onto the pod? This is always it's always rolling the dice here on the Madness Continues. Oh wait, whoops. This goodness, the madness continues.
The madness continues.
I know.
Welcome back, you guys, to the Madness Continues here with Brendon.
Welcome back to the Madness Continues podcast. I'm your host. Your host, Brendon Lemon out here.
We got Brendon Lemon on the line. Brendon, you've got some. As I understand, you're a parent, Brendon, and so your opinion matters.
Oh, goodness gracious. I may have to end up doing this again where I have to drop you and call him. This is so frustrating that this is the limitation of the technology, but this is happening live.
My ex-girlfriend did that once. I'm just going to drop Lance and call this other guy.
Call this other dude up. All right, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and pop this on. Sorry, Lance. We'll talk to you in 1 second.
All right.
Well, there we go. I knew it was going to happen, and then it did. Jay.
Hey.
What is up, man?
Not much. You're really not having a good day.
No, I'm not.
Jay.
There we go. We got Lance back on the show. Jay, you are beautiful? Is that what you got behind your desk, man?
It's my girlfriend's painting, but yes.
That's pretty cool, dude. I feel like that would be a good message to walk into if you're doing some work.
We can add this to it.
Nice.
Do you got a drink in there or just coffee or something?
I got some really good Cafe Bustelo in there, but that's my girlfriend's company, so I got to do a little plugging here. So there you go.
Dude, plug. Cafe Bustelo is delicious.
No, genius. The plug was for her company.
I knew.
I told you have a future as a talk show host. You got to pick up on this stuff, okay? Just.
I love it. No, yeah. So is that the name of her company? What's the name of her company?
Have some fun today.
Got it. Cool, man.
Yeah, that's very cool.
How's your day going? We spoke a little bit ago, a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to know how's New York doing now? How are you doing during the quarantine, man?
I'm great. Feel very blessed, very lucky. I'm actually in Pennsylvania.
Got it.
With my girlfriend, but we actually went to New York yesterday. And it was quite interesting, I got to tell you. I don't know if you guys have been recently, but it is bizarre.
Yeah, not since the end of May when I peaced out because it got very weird.
It was surreal. I mean, the streets are empty.
Yeah.
Like empty. And just, but it's still New York. Like, you still feel it. I mean, there's still an energy, even though it's empty. I saw a homeless person, gave him a cigarette, so I felt, I'm home. It was good. Saw a fire truck, got some Lombardis. So all in all, it was a really great day. But it was just kind of strange. Like, some people wearing masks, some people are being like, "Fuck this," and it's just kind of, it's just weird.
What a New York attitude! Yeah, this virus ain't stronger than me.
Pretty much. Well, yeah. I mean, the first thing I saw when we parked, we were across from a bakery, Italian bakery. I can't remember which one. And there was a line outside. There was no social distancing. Cops were the first guys on. Masks were half down. And it was like, whatever. Like, it just, I mean, look, I think we've got to be careful. And I agree with a lot of the stuff, but within reason. Like, you gotta, you gotta down a notch.
There was somebody, I went running in Chicago, and I saw some guy running with a N95 mask on his face. And I was like, come on, man. Nobody's even around you. Like,
yeah, it's a little much, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's certainly interesting times, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. This has been like this is all I can do to try to socialize with people is have me and Lance jump on the phone with all kinds of peeps, man.
Whatever works, man.
Are you so what do you so where in Pennsylvania are you around, man? Are you're clearly near Philadelphia, right?
We're about an hour from Philly. We're in the Mecca called Why I'm Missing. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's part of Reading. Don't ask me where that is. Honestly, I'm from New York, so I know East Side, West Side, town, uptown. That's what I know. This North South shit, I don't.
Yeah, you're like born and raised, right? You're like you're the whole thing.
I'm the real deal. Yeah.
Just like Lancey. Lancey's from New York on here.
I'm from New York City, born and raised.
Yeah, that I could tell by the accent immediately. Plus the tie. I mean, it was just right away. I could tell. There's no question.
You could tell which street I'm from.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I'm from Sohu. Sohu, you heard of it?
Yeah, I get you. Now, are you on Houston Street?
Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking
You're the kind of guy that the cabbies drive around the block 14 times.
Right.
Building, right.
Hey, we're taking the quick way.
Take a quick way, yeah. Quick way to my bank account.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't we pass that Sbarro 3 or 4 times already?
It's a different one. Yeah. This is the good one.
Yes. Where you get that authentic New York pizza.
I think they have that fried calamari.
Michael Lucci's Pizza now on the Lower East Side.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, man! Here's what's great is that when I first came to New York, I kept calling it Houston Street. Like, I looked like such a clodhopper walking around.
Did somebody corrected you?
Yeah, until some woman who I didn't know was like, "Sir," like, "Sir, please." When you speak, it is like nails on a chalkboard. She was like, "Where are you from, Iowa?" And I'm like, "Look, I know I look like I'm from Iowa, but I'm actually from Michigan."
And she was like, "Same difference."
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. That's
right.
Where I look out the window of the plane and then I fall asleep.
Right.
That's when New Yorkers watched Apollo 13, they were like, "Did he say Houston? We have a problem." Well, where's this guy from?
Yeah.
How was there not a vintage store that opened after that movie called Houston, We Have a Problem? That feels exactly like when I get out of the Essex Street F train and I walk out. It's just all vintage stores.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, this is true.
What area of the city did you grow up in, Jay?
Upper Manhattan at first, then we moved to Queens, and then I moved downtown, Chelsea, and then Soho.
That's a great area. I think I might live in NoHo when I come back.
NoHo is great. Actually, NoHo is great. I like it. I like it a lot.
Anyway,
I like it. I'm not a fan of the East Village per se. Like, I don't mind going through it, and I like the fact that it is probably still the most authentic part of New York City. I just wouldn't want to live there. I think to me, Bowery is the cutoff personally. Yeah. Like that's as far east as I would want to go.
Really? That's interesting. Yeah. So right now I live at 7th and A, between 1st and A. And
how do you like it?
I really dig it. It's and that's like right at the corner of Tompkins, and it's like a great area.
That's actual Alphabet City, like real Alphabet City.
It's starting to get in there, yeah. If I go over to B,
A would be part of the alphabet.
Yeah, exactly. I'm on the First Street side of A though.
Yeah. It's technicality. It's technicality.
There's some great bars over there though, man.
No, it's a great area. It's not that, but I'm talking about for living like full time. Yeah. I'm just not.
I love that when my hair gets longer, maybe I'll have similar opinions, because right now I'm at the point with this length that I'm like, I feel the way about the Lower East Side that you do about East Village. So when I'm
about Lower East Side, so it's all good, like no problem. But your hair's growing just up. Mine's going everywhere. We might catch up like in 10 years or so. But
you legit, it completes the look though, man. You look so good like this.
Thank you.
Does anybody, and I mean this as I wonder if this happens, does anybody ever stop you and they're like, it's Weird Al Yankovic, or like any of that?
Yeah, those guys get tripped or caught pretty quick. That's not one of my favorites.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't bet.
I get Howard Stern, which I don't. Which I guess if you maybe just see my face, you could maybe be that. But I'm 5'9". He's like 6'5", 6'4".
Yeah, he's enormous. That guy.
There's no comparison. Yeah. But whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't really care. So whatever makes people happy. I got Kenny G a couple times. Those people aren't walking straight anymore.
Oh my god.
Well, I wouldn't think that. I wouldn't think you look like Kenny G, but you do have an aura of like fame about you. Like you look like a famous person.
You kind of do, yeah. Which is part of the reason I said that. You look like a guy who is famous for something. You got the verified tag on Twitter.
Thank you.
But that's that the New York vibe coming off.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm born and raised there, so to me, this is just who I am. Like, I think we are born and raised New Yorkers. We're not trying. Like, that's who we are. And if you like it, that's cool. And if you don't like it, that's okay. I don't really care. I think people that come to New York and be like, I'm a New Yorker. I'm going to dress like this, and I'm going to talk like this. And I'm like, just be yourself. Like, just cool. Like, nothing wrong with being yourself, because somebody is already somebody else. So trying to be them is pointless.
I love that this is actually a good discussion to have, because I feel like in the Midwest you don't even know what the term be yourself means, because I feel like you're only ever raised by other people who are telling you who you are.
But be yourself it refers to a town.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? The entire town is the same.
Yeah.
Do you guys like walk into the wrong house sometimes? No.
I've never done that, but I definitely have sat down. One of my favorite stories from college is I sat down at a table. Really, I just glanced and I saw, there's like, a group of people who I thought were my friends. There's like a couple of girls, a couple of guys. I sat down and it was like a mirror Bizarro World version of my group of friends. They were like exactly the same group of people, except they were different. And I sat down and I was like, I'm at the wrong table. And
how long did you guys to realize?
2 years.
I looked down at my that's how I met all my friends in college, was that exact moment.
Well, a good way you meet people in New York is which you're only allowed to walk to, social distancing aside,
Yeah.
New York law is you're only supposed to walk 2 people at a time.
Oh,
across.
really?
Yeah, seriously? So anybody that walks more than 2 people across, stop. Like, just stop. Like, don't go. But when you're walking with somebody and they stop for whatever reason, like they tie their shoes or they look at a store window and you keep talking, that to me is the best way to meet people in New York. You just start talking, you're talking to somebody and they're like, oh, and they just pick up the conversation with you. Because we're a friendly bunch.
Well, it's funny, man, because as a Midwesterner in the city, I've noticed that, like, well, first of all, people, like, spotted me, like, right away. I said, I went into, like, a cafe, and about 2 seconds in, somebody was like, you're not from New York. You're from, like, where are you from? You're from, like, the Midwest somewhere. And I was like, yeah, that's true. How do you know that? And they were like, well, you made eye contact and you asked how my day was. I was like, is that how low the bar is? Like,
but, you know, someone told me that New Yorkers ask you what you do like very quickly into meeting someone, which apparently is not what other people do.
Yeah.
From other parts of the world. And I never realized that. I mean, I'm not that nosy, but apparently that's like a thing that New Yorkers do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing because you're trying to get to know somebody. If you meet somebody, you want to know them. And if you don't know what they do, it seems, but I've had people be like, you know, you guys asked that right away. And I'm like, yeah, is it a secret? Like, you work for the CIA? Like, what's the, you know, like.
I've always, so that's funny because where in Lance grew up, people always ask, and where do you go to church?
We don't do that in New York. We don't do that. We don't care in New York. If you go, if you don't go, you don't go. Like, we don't care. Like, but I think that's the thing that people, to me, I mean, when I used to travel when I was in the tennis business all the time, 20, 30 weeks a year, and every time I go someplace, and then apparently I do have a New York accent, but not like heavy New York accent.
No.
So people say, oh, where are you from? And I say, I'm from New York. And they're like, oh, you're American. I was like, no. I'm New Yorker. And that sounds maybe obnoxious, but we're not, you go to other parts of the country, it's different.
Yeah.
You know, and again, pre-corona and hopefully post-corona, I mean, you know, you walk down the street, just any street, you're going to pass 5, 6 religions, 20 body types, 8 colors, just everything. So you have to just kind of accept it and just get along with it. You may not like everybody, but that's just what it is. That's your life.
Yeah.
So you can't be like, oh, they're different. Like, yeah, of course they're different. Like, we're all packed together in this small place, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's how great things happen. That's how you learn things. That's how you grow. So, you know, nobody really cares. You know, you go to church, go to synagogue. I don't care.
It doesn't really matter.
To me, I don't care.
Yeah, it's actually probably why I strangely feel at home in it is because I feel like I grew up in Metro Detroit. In my hometown, we had a Sikh temple, a Buddhist temple, a Jewish temple. We had a mosque. We had a Hindu temple. We had Catholic churches, Protestant churches. We had all kinds of different people. It was a real melting pot in Detroit.
Right.
And so I feel right at home because you're like, you pass body types, religions, colors. I'm like, he's describing first and 14th. Like, I've been at that corner.
Yeah, but that's great, though. I mean, how do we grow? Is it, when you think about it, not to get too deep, but like as a society, that's how we grow. Like, I want to learn from somebody else. I don't, you know, it's like people that leave, like people, let's say, go to France or Germany for a year or go whatever, like they leave and they want to go hang out with Americans, or people like that come from Europe. I mean, if you in New York, and I don't know what crowd you're with, but like if you go, let's say, out in fashion or hospitality or entertainment, the world that I'm in, you know, all the French guys hang out together, all the German guys hang out together. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like stay in France. Like, to me, if I went to live in another country, the last thing I'd want to be around is an American.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point? I'm going there because I want a different experience. So, I mean, to me, I think that's how we learn. I think that's how, you know, we'll get through this eventually, by like learning from each other and being more understanding towards one another. And I mean, I think that's a better way to be, but I'm not.
You are, dude. You are like you're the college professor I feel like we need right now.
Like I said, I'm out of high school, so that's going to be a problem.
You ask what crowd. I don't know what crowd you hang out with. Just to answer that question, the crowd I hang out with is juggalos, mostly Insane Clown Posse fans.
Nice. All good. Very cool.
Do you have a growing up in New York, do you have like a really good New York story you can tell us?
Oh, geez.
I mean, it might be hard to think of one because, like you said, you've just been in it your whole life, so it's hard to know what we would.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've never actually been asked that question.
I can say one real quick. Just while maybe it'll give you time to think of one, Jay.
Okay.
Is because when I moved there back in July of like last year, I was standing at the corner of I think it was like Broadway and like 35th or something. And as I'm standing there, actually 27th, I remembered it really clearly. Anyway, I'm standing at the corner, and a homeless guy on a bike with a megaphone rode by everybody on the corner, and he's got a bike.
Know that guy.
Megaphone, yeah.
I don't know him personally, but I've seen that guy.
Oh, that's Megaphone Frankie. Yeah, he's right. He's slow rolling his bike with a megaphone, and he's not even looking where he's going. He's in the bike lane, but he's looking at everybody on the side of the road as he's passing them. And he starts saying, and he goes, "You have all been tricked. You have all been tricked. He is lying to you. I'm, of course, talking about Donald Duck." He does not say Trump. He says Donald Duck.
That's hilarious.
And everybody didn't do anything. And that was like, I'm standing there going like, is nobody hearing him say Donald Duck right now? Am I the only one? So the second part to that story is I went to an open mic later that day, and I was like, I have to talk about this on stage. Donald Duck, this is hilarious. And I got up on stage and I said, so I was standing at the corner of blah, 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 and a homeless guy came by, and the whole crowd yawned at the same time because they were like, oh, a homeless person story.
Yeah, that's New York. I mean, you kind of, I mean, it's very rare. It's very rare that you see something in New York. They're like, okay, now I've seen it all. Like, it's kind of every day you see something. I mean, I don't know that I ever. I mean, I probably do, but like you said, it's just part of my life.
Right.
But I mean, I could tell you a story. I mean, it's. It's a little out there, and it's from your neighborhood.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
So pre everybody and their mother having a cell phone, when we would go out, you kind of knew in advance where you were going. So you'd go to one club from this hour to this hour, then we would bounce to this club and bounce to this club. And there was this after-hours place called Save the Robots. Mm. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about it. There's some stuff on Facebook Plus about it because it was legendary, like a legendary place. So obviously after-hours are illegal, but that's where we would end up. So they would open like at 4 o'clock in the morning. And and it was 2 floors, like on Avenue A, and like I think 6th or 5th or 6th or 7th, something like that.
Yeah.
So it was just a black door. You couldn't have a line out front because they didn't want any attention coming there, or whatever. And one time, it was like 2 floors. So you walked in top floor, and there was a little area, and you would go downstairs. And one time, for whatever reason, the owners were a French couple. The guy was about 6'5", and his wife was about 5'1". Hilarious. And for whatever reason, one of their themes, they filled the entire first floor with sand. What? So you walked in, and you thought you kind of felt like you were on the beach, but you were, at that point, probably pretty wasted.
Yeah.
So you just kind of like went with it and went downstairs. So one time I was going there with a friend of mine, and you can understand everybody's a little drunk. They had like 2 bathrooms. People didn't exactly use them to go to the bathroom. So my friend had to pee. So we were pulling up to it. He's like, I got to go. I'm going to go to the alley. So he went behind the place. There was some alley there. And he starts doing what he's doing, and I was just standing off to the side. And then some guy comes running past us, followed by cops running past us, shooting at the guy.
Oh, my gosh.
My friend does not stop doing what he had to do. They pass us, and he was like, okay, I'm good, let's go. And in we went to the club. And I was just like, like whatever. Like that was just like okay. It wasn't going to stop us at that point. It's like 4:30. Like
This sounds. I love this story because it sounds like a Stefan on SNL club pitch. Like, it's a new club. There's sand on the floor, and where periodically police officers will run by shooting at a suspect. Like it's literally what it sounds like. I went so I'm sleeping at 7th and A at my apartment, and there was a hookah lounge that is still there, just around the corner on Avenue A. And as I'm sleeping there, at 4 a.m, I hear this reggae music, and then out of nowhere, it gets really loud, like just this. I don't even know how to describe it. Just this loud, almost like a mix between house music and reggae music. And then I hear these guys yelling at each other, and then I hear pam 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 pam, and like 2 seconds later, I hear the police show up. And they're like, get on the ground, ba 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 ba, like 8 gunshots. And I think
that was Tuesday. That was a Tuesday night, right?
That was a Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah. And so I go back. That is the Alphabet City side of the block, by the way.
Yeah, which is another reason why I prefer not to live there.
Yeah, I don't blame you. They had a great farmers market the next morning. You know.
I bet they did. Yeah.
Made you real homesick for Chicago, didn't it?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
That's just, I remember, like, I heard my neighbor's house get broken into when I lived in Chicago. Same thing. I felt right at home. I was like, I grew up in Metro Detroit. I'm fine. Joy Shanneberger says hello, by the way. And
thank you.
She says, have Jay talk about his tennis background. I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, we talked about it on the phone a couple weeks ago. You have a rather eclectic background, and that's part of it.
Yeah. What do you want? What would you like to know?
Yeah. So you had a background in tennis.
Yeah, we're gonna work. I'm gonna mentor you.
Yeah,
So I decided I wanted to be a professional tennis player a little bit later than most people do, and I got pretty good, but I didn't have the money to pay for any of the travel or coaching or equipment or any of that sort of stuff. So I started playing tournaments. I was doing okay, but I just really couldn't afford it. So I started. I taught myself how to string rackets. I don't know if you guys know anything about tennis or anything, but I taught myself how to string rackets originally, mainly because I was breaking strings all the time and I needed to just do it myself because it just was too expensive. And then I started realizing that I didn't like the way it was being done. It didn't make any sense to me. So I started experimenting and I started coming up with different ways to do it. And then I was training with different people, like pros in the city. And then I was like, well, I can string your rackets. And they were like, this is amazing. Like, my rackets have never felt this way before. And
wow.
Little by little, that turned into a business. So it started with stringing. And then I also realized that the rackets all felt different. Like, players would play a match and they'd break a string and they'd pick up a next racket. And then they would start losing games and matches. And I was like, what the hell happened? And they're like, well, it's not my favorite racket. And I was like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, they look the same. Like, what's the difference? And then I started looking at them, and I'm like, yeah, they're totally different. They look the same,
that is
but they're
really
like totally different. Yeah. The weight was different. Just everything about it was different. And I started looking into that and figuring it out. So I started, again, experimenting and coming up with techniques on how to make rackets play the same. So I was able to customize the rackets for players, starting off just customizing them. And then from there, it just grew, and I started working with the manufacturers to design rackets for my clients only. Like, I didn't do it for I didn't, like, Wilson didn't hire me to do their rackets. But if I had, like, Jim Courier, for example, was a client, I'd tell Wilson, this is how you need to make his racket. They would send them to us, and then we would customize it so every one of his rackets were the same, or Agassi or Capriati or whoever, Ackerman or whoever we were. We worked with everybody. So that turned into a business of, customizing, designing rackets for most of the top players.
That is actually that's really cool, man.
Thank you.
By the way, I'm not the only one who thinks so. Pete Weishaupt said super cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pete, I can imagine Pete in his home saying it like, super cool. Like, he probably really enjoyed that story. I love that string the racket sounds like something you would say. They'll be like, yeah, man, hung out with a really hot chick the other day, strung a racket. You know what I'm saying? That
Okay, so I'll give you this one, and I don't normally, but so one year at the U.S. Open, I was working with Mats Wilander, and he was number 2 in the world, and he was number 2 for a while, and everybody was like, oh, he's never going to be number 1, and blah 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 bullshit, whatever. And one year he was like, fuck it, I'm going to go for it. Like he didn't really care about being number 1. He just two's pretty good, but he was like, I'm going to go for it. And he worked his ass off, and I worked with him on different things, and he had a special fitness coach, and blah, 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 blah. And so everybody pretty much said, he's never going to beat Lendl, he's never going to win the U.S. Open, he's never going to be number 1. Mm-hmm. That's what everybody was saying, all the press, everybody was like, it's never going to happen. Like, he's going to go down as a great player that never did any of those 3 things. And he was like, I'm going to do that this year. At least I'm going to go for it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And he was like a super cool, super chill guy. Super talented, obviously, and worked really hard. So his wife was fairly top model, like not like Cindy Crawford top, but pretty top model, very well in the modeling world. And she was friends with Patty Hansen, who's Keith Richards' wife.
Wow.
And so at that time, I had just opened up my retail stores, and we had tennis shops in New York, and I wasn't in production at that time, so I hope nobody can see those commercials because they were hideous. But we did do TV commercials, and we would put them on ESPN, who covered, or whoever it was, USA or ESPN, whatever, and we would obviously show them during tennis matches. So one day I get to the U.S. Open, I had to meet Mats to bring him his rackets. It wasn't the official rackets at the time. I was working out of my apartment. I go to the U.S. Open, I drop off the rackets, and there's Keith Richards sitting in the players' lounge with Patty Hansen, with Mats's wife. And I walk in, and he's, without missing a beat, he was like, "You're the guy who strings the rackets." and I was like, "That's pretty fucking cool. You're the guy who plays guitar." And then we just saw it. Like, I mean, we're not like friends or anything like that, but we hung out because I was going for Mats's matches, and I was friends with all of them. So we pretty much saw him like throughout the whole U.S. Open. And Mats did beat Lendl in the finals, won the U.S. Open, and became number 1.
Hell
like,
yeah,
boom.
dude.
So it was pretty cool.
That's a great story, man. You're the guy who strings rackets. Hey, you're the guy that plays guitar.
Well, I read some of David Foster Wallace's books, stories about tennis. Did you ever run into him or?
Who?
David Foster Wallace.
No.
He was like competitive on the in tennis for a while, I think.
Never heard of him.
Sorry. Well, I mean, he was famous for being a writer.
Right.
Oh no! I mean, I knew some of the writers. I mean, I knew. Because of all the players I worked with, there were some people would interview me, so I knew some of the press. Like I would get on TV a little bit here and there, and Sports Illustrated did an article about me, and Stringer to the Stars, they called me, which was kind of funny. But then the players started fucking with me and saying, "Hey, Stringer to the Stars."
Oh,
like,
come on.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Well, because one of the players said it. Like they went to do an article about me, and then I think it was Courier or somebody who said it, and they were like, "Well, tell me about Jay and what's it like working to him." It's like, "Oh, Jay, he's like Stringer to the Stars," and then everybody's like, "You know how it is, like some bullshit, whatever." So it was kind of funny. But I knew John Wertheim, who's the guy who's now big in Sports Illustrated. I think he's on ESPN and stuff too. But I didn't really come across those guys too much. So sorry, yeah.
Oh, it's all right.
Yeah, that honestly, man, that's such a cool story. I love that because I feel like you just got into that because you did it yourself and then started developing it from there, basically.
Yeah, like I said, I dropped out of high school because I thought I was going to be a professional tennis player. Like, what do I need college for? I just didn't. It's not like a football player or a basketball player where you got to go to college and get drafted and stuff like that. That's just how tennis works. So I have no training in anything in engineering, but I have a patent on a racket, analysis device that I invented with 2 friends of mine that were scientists. But I'm not a fan. I don't like to change things if they're fine. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. It's round, it works. Round works. I liked it. But if something just isn't right, it kind of irks me a little bit. So I'm like, there's got to be a better way. And if it's something that I'm passionate about or that I understand a little bit, then I can do that. I mean, that's the same thing in the entertainment world. I mean, the platform that we're designing, developing, it's not because I want to take on this enormous project. It's that there's a problem and it's fixable, and I see how it can be fixed. So, that's just how my mind works.
Well, the takeaway I have from this story is that I should have quit high school when I was doing stand-up comedy back then and just focused on stand-up. So do you want to talk about effluence real quick, because I feel like it's good that you brought it up, and it's a good way to get into it here.
Sure. So we're developing a platform for the entertainment industry that will take projects from concept to distribution all on one platform, engaging creatives, fans, and investors. Basically creating this global ecosystem of people that are either in the industry, want to be in this industry, care, or fans, investors, anybody that kind of has any interest in it whatsoever. Removing all the bias and the gatekeepers and all the crap and all the inefficiencies that go on, like what it takes to get a project made is incomprehensible. And I correlate it to feeling like a pinball in a pinball machine. Like every time you think you've gotten something done, you're like, great, I've got what's called coverage on a script that has been read by experts, and they tell you it's a great script. You're like, oh, great, I'm ready to go. Oh, no, you're not even close. Like, now you've got to figure out your financing, and now you've got to figure out your crew, and then you've got to figure out your market. And none of those things are connected in any way, shape, or form. So our model is really bringing those pieces together seamlessly so people can focus on what they want, what they're best at. So if you're in the industry and you're a writer, an actor, a director, a producer, a crew, that's what you can focus on. You don't have to worry about the other things. And the platform connects the right people, vets the projects without any bias, so that they can get made faster, more efficiently. Investors can feel safe because they have real data to compare things to when they make an investment, whereas now they really don't know.
It's total shot in the dark.
It's total shot in the dark, and maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I'm passionate, and all different things about it that are just kind of really, really broken and very antiquated. And it's shocking because, if you're a fan, you look at, Captain America or any movie and you're like, oh my God, they're so high tech. Those guys must be so cool. And like, yeah, post-production guys they're super cool. Walk into a production office.
Yeah.
Just walk into a production office and I'll show you what we did in the 1920s.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing now.
Baskets and baskets of colored paper.
Ridiculous. Like, it's printed again. Or did you have somebody's phone number? Oh, I put it in. Wait, was I supposed to save that? Like, it wasn't in the project?
What's the name of the guy from the trucking company? Yeah.
Yeah. So, and even like just to find people. Like we had a very small little promo video we needed to do. Just a simple, quick little story. Just to give you an example, this was one of the things that was like, okay, I've got to fix this. And so we were going to do this quick little promo video. And the guy was a good friend of mine, worked together, was our DP, or cinematographer for those who don't know DPs. And he said, listen, I'll take care of the crew. You deal with all the logistic stuff, but I'll take care of the crew. Don't worry about it. But I'm going away, but I'll be back the night before, and we'll be good to go. I said, great, no problem. So I did everything but deal with the crew. Sure enough, he forgot to get the sound guy. Of course you did. So at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we're shooting the next morning. I've got to find a sound guy. So I go through my contacts and I start texting and emailing whatever, which then I have to wait for somebody to get back to me. And then someone gets like, I can't do it, but I've got 5 friends. It took me 6 hours to find one person. That's insane. And this is for like the tiniest of tiny projects. I need somebody for 4 hours. So imagine what it's like when you have to put a crew of 50 people together on a production where you're going to need them for 2 months. And you have to do that with every single position. And you get all these applications and you're like, oh, they're great. Oh, shit, they're 3 times my budget. Or, oh, they live in Arkansas. I'm shooting in Minnesota. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And there's no system that organizes that. So the technology is there, the intelligence is there, and the desire is there to make this easier because nobody wants to deal with that. If you're a filmmaker, you want to make films. You know,
Yeah,
so
you don't want to sort through your Rolodex and do a bunch of sales development work with a bunch of people.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think for fans to be able to learn about projects early on and to kind of get passionate about them and vote on them and interact with people and go behind the scenes and see what it's like on set and all that stuff, that's super cool. Like, people want to do that, but they don't have the access.
Yep.
And it's not like the filmmakers, I mean, any producer that I've spoken to, they're like, yeah, we'd love to get our fans involved, but I don't have the time for that. Like, I don't know how to market. I don't know how to do that. Like, I barely was able to raise the money to make this thing. Like, where am I going to get money? So there's tools out there, and some we're going to develop from scratch. Some we're going to use that other people have created and bring them together and just make it a lot easier and better for everybody.
I like this. Let me tell you what I love about this. First of all, I know this problem myself, because when me and my co-producer shot the pilot that we did, and we self-produced a pilot for an international comedy show we wanted to do. We produced it in Reykjavik, Iceland, and we ran into a total disaster on our first day. Basically the I know, right? The cinematographer just totally was a complete idiot, didn't know what he was doing. We discovered that really quickly, and I literally went through every resource I could find, Jay, overnight. I was up all night, 12 hours, just emailing every single person in the whole country, being like, who wants to do work for 8 days? And finally, same thing, the next morning, a guy called the guy, and he happened to live 4 blocks. I mean, it's Iceland, so there's only 8 blocks in the whole country. But he lived 4 blocks away. And then he came over and he was like, yeah, I don't have anything going on for the next 2 weeks, so I'm happy to take this project. But I think there was no reason. I couldn't go anywhere. I had to stay up all night sifting through, it almost feels like that scene in the movie where the investigator has to go look at old newspaper microfilm or something. It definitely made me be there's got to be a better way.
Yeah. There will be. We'll build it, and there will be. But yeah, right now there isn't. Right now there just isn't, which just is really unfortunate.
Well, man, I thank you for joining, dude. We're hitting up on time, so I'm happy that I knew this would be a lot of fun, and it's been great to hear your stories, man.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Good talking to you.
Where can people find you? Where can people follow you? Follow your stuff.
LinkedIn, Instagram, at Effluence. On Instagram, my personal one is Schwied.
Yeah.
Schwied. Yeah. That's a story for another time.
I have a feeling Schwied came out the night you went to that sand floor bar.
It did not. There's another story. But yeah, I mean, Effluence.com. Like I said, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, Facebook. All the regular stuff.
Cool.
Stuff all the kids use.
Well, buddy, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the Happiest Hour. And we'll talk again soon. I'll see you when I'm in New York.
I look forward to it, man. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Jay Shwied. That was what a great dude, man. There you go. Lancey. What a fun. How cool are his stories, man?
So great.
We had on him and John Corcoran this week. Both had awesome stories about cool people doing cool things.
Oh yeah, for sure. I like how I'm give us a cool story about New York. He's like, I can't really think of one. I mean, there was this one time that people came around the corner shooting. Oh, and
by the way, let me tell you about this story. I almost forgot about how I met Keith Richards.
Yeah. That's a regular story for people who grew up in New York.
Jay grew up in New York. His barely remembered stories are cooler than anything that has ever happened in Medford, Michigan.
Yeah. That's really good.
Man.
Yeah, this is a great week for the Happiest Hour.
Yeah.
This truly is the Happiest Hour. I hope it's helping.
This made my day. I'm glad I did this, because it was a pretty rough day. And Jay absolutely gave me the shot in the arm that I needed. What a positive guy, man. He's so fun. Mm-hmm. I hope New York clears up soon so we can go back over there and I can end up buying him a drink or hanging out with him or something like that. And I can see your mother. I forgot. I need to go down to Greenwich Village and say hello to her.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to mail her a handwritten letter and tell her that you're coming, because if anybody steps on her property, she's just gonna start firing. Because they ain't used to visitors, so she's gonna think
she shoots first after Waco.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man! What a great time! Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in and checking out. We had a lot of buddies joined us on the show. John Corcoran dropped by to say hello. He's in the comments. Sajag Agarwal, my cousin Dustin Music, Joy Shannerberger, Karen Lemon, my mother, Adrian Brandyberg. So maybe there's opportunity for me to propose yet again to Adrian Brandyberg. Andrew Lawson.
Your wedding bells.
Yeah. She's rolling her eyes so hard right now.
Can you feel that too? I can feel it.
I can feel. As soon as I said it, I could feel it. My mom said, "Write your mother." That's so funny. Thank you guys so much for dropping by. If you want to check out Jay's platform he's talking about, it's ephelance.com, EPHELANTS.com. It's worth taking a look at if you're involved with entertainment or production at all. I wish it had existed when I was going through that nightmare scenario in Iceland, which we will, I'm sure, talk about at some point. We need to get Helgi Steiner Gunnlaugsson on this show from Iceland, or maybe Ari Eldjarn, and I'll have to tell that story then. But anyway, it's a cool platform. You can check it out, ephelance.com. And otherwise, what do you got going on in the Lancey Joe on Venmo show tonight?
I think we have Anthony Bonazzo back on tonight.
Great Chicago comedian Anthony Bonazzo.
Yeah, last night we had Nick DeLowy join at the last minute, and it was really a good one. We had a fun conversation. So you can check that out on TBS at 7/8 Central.
Right after Conan. Brought to you by Michael Lucci's Pizza. Michael Lucci's Pizza, serving the greater De Pere area. All right, take it easy, everybody. We'll see you later.
Bring your movie ticket stub into Michael Lucci Pizzas and get a half off any appetizer.
Only with qualified and participating AMC theaters. Michael Lucci's Pizza.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Take it easy, everybody. Be well. We'll see you tomorrow. We're here with Sarah Lynn tomorrow all the way from Los Angeles. Take care. Bye.